everybody. Welcome to the Hello Road podcast, where we talk about unique and forgotten cars, road trips, travel, racing, riding, and our car adventures. I'm Ethan.
I'm Paul.
And I think this is episode 27.
Ooh, spooky 27.
I know. That's crazy. We've been doing this a while. Feels like years, decades we've been doing this.
Decades. Yeah, yes. 27. This is, this is the end of the road. If you're a believer in Jim Morrison and Kurt Cobain, and Janis Joplin, Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah.
I don't know.
This could be the end. Could be the end of the Hello Road podcast. We'll see.
No, I think we'll pull through.
Okay.
I think we'll get over that the curse of 27. So
yes. I mean, if it would be a different story if we were kind of musicians and making rock music, but I don't know where the podcast curse happens. I feel like that's episode 2 for most podcasts. They never really make it past number 2.
Right. It's either episode 2 or episode 476 or something.
Exactly.
It's one of those two.
Yeah. Oh, what's interesting? I just found out that is Hooniverse stopping their podcast?
I heard something about that too. I'm not sure.
I was like,
it's kind of, not to totally derail everything, but it's kind of odd because, the podcast form, came about and a while ago, and there's been lots. It's fairly easy to start your own, but to gain following and everything like that, it takes some time to do it. And I don't know. It just seems like it's kind of teetering off a bit. I don't know. I mean, with that, and then I don't know. I'm not trying to shots fired or anything, but the guys over at Clutch Kick, they haven't had a new show in quite a while, so I don't know what's going on. So we're here, so we'll take over and
exactly.
Everybody come on over and listen to the Hello Road podcast.
We'll take the scraps and the dregs. Yes.
Not the scraps, We'll take all come on over. We're fun.
Yes,
we can do a one tire burnout contest between the Charade and the twin cam. It'll be good.
Yes, yeah, I know. We'll leave 2 strips, but it'll be 2 cars that are doing the 2 strips.
There we go.
It's definitely. I definitely feel like there's a lot of content out there that people can listen to. Maybe, I can just imagine though, if like the Hooniverse guys were doing this podcast for like several years, it could just get burned out and need to take a break. But well, we're here. We're ready
listening
to
enjoyment.
Yeah, for your ear holes.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, I think today we could talk about we got some stuff going on. We got Radwood kind of off in the not so distant future.
Nope.
Trying to get ready for the Radwood LA.
Yep.
And SEMA's going on right now. I didn't really have too much interest in going. I've never been, but I don't know. It's one of those things. I go to the NAMM trade show, the music instrument trade show. Mm-hmm. I've been going to that for 20 years, and it's great for like the first 2 years, and then it's just sort of a slog for the next, for the rest of the time.
It's so funny because I got to go probably 2010, 2011. I was and how I was able to get in was just the most interesting thing, but. Besides the point.
Sure.
It was so awesome. I was like, oh my God, this is the coolest thing ever. Like I was walking around there and I believe there was at one point Stevie Wonder and his entourage.
Yeah, he's always there. Yeah, he's always there. And he always has his
right
entourage.
Past me. Yeah, walked right past me. I'm just like, okay, yeah, this is not where I'm supposed to be. But at the same time, it was so cool though. So, but yeah, and the thing with SEMA is it seems like it would be that way too, where it's like, you're going to see a lot of these automotive celebrities, not that we kind of don't see them, I guess, a lot. Like, it's not uncommon to have Jay Leno show up at I
see him driving around LA all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, for the most part, just to see everything else that's out there, I've never been to SEMA either. And, it's kind of funny. When the coverage for the show started, at least the coverage that everybody's kind of seeing on Instagram and Twitter and stuff like that. And I forgot who it was. Some another one of the automotive podcasts. I mean, besides DWA who were there, anyways. I think they were there last year. But another one, it was like their first year, like, hey, we're a small automotive podcast, and look, here we are at SEMA. So I was like, well, maybe next year, Ethan and I will go and see what it's like to walk 20 miles around the Las Vegas Convention Center.
I think I would probably really enjoy it, and I wouldn't even mind, like, walking my feet off.
The walking,
I think I do hear a lot of people complain about SEMA, but I think it's probably the people that have been in the automotive industry for decades, and they're just, because it's really generally trade shows don't change that much. Like the NAMM trade show, it's been the same stuff for the last 20 years.
Right.
I mean, really. I mean, in general, it's this, there's little pockets of innovation here and there, but in general, it's like, okay, a bunch of guitars, a bunch of guitar cases and picks and strings and stuff like that. So, and SEMA is just like, okay, mostly brodozers, right?
Well, and that's the thing that's the thing that's funny is, maybe it's just the medium of what I'm looking at on Instagram. Sure. I'm not seeing that. I'm seeing a lot of other things at the show this year that are kind of piquing my interest a little bit, because I know for a good few years you were right. That was very brodozer heavy, and just to kind of throw something out there, Dodge Rampage with a Hellcat engine in the back of it. Cool. All right.
Yes, so, that was very neat.
That's not something you'd expect to see, which was really kind of piqued my interest, because it's something oddball, something that, we're totally into, but here it is on the floor at SEMA. So, I don't know. Maybe we might have to put our requests in to go next year. So we'll
definitely.
See.
We'll see. Let's make it happen.
Yeah. I think we could. I think that'd be fun.
All right. Oh, we should probably also do a show from NAMM too, even though this podcast has nothing to do with that. That would be
we
kind
could.
Of fun.
We could do something. I'll figure something out. There we go.
We'll figure it out. Yeah. I'll get you a pass to NAMM.
Awesome.
We're figuring this out live on the air. Well, you're not going to listen to it live, but this is all off the cuff. Yeah, I'll get you a pass to NAMM. It's
sweet.
Fun.
Oh yeah,
sweet.
All the guitar picks you could ever want.
Yes.
Well, cool. Well, yeah. So the show today is actually kind of very show heavy, because that's kind of what we got.
There's a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, it's a busy time. I mean, it's early November now, so there's lots of stuff, because like obviously SEMA's going on right now. There was a couple shows, or there was a show I went to a couple weeks ago. It was pretty awesome. And then we've got some upcoming stuff that is just, really rad, like Radwood, the Los Angeles International Auto Show. Is it international still? Maybe it's not. Los Angeles Auto Show. I don't know. When everybody started not showing anymore because they wanted to show in Detroit, that kind of changed things. But regardless, there's lots of cool stuff coming up and that has happened. So, but maybe before we get into the shows, what's been going on with you, sir?
With my vehicles, my fleet of awful broken vehicles. I am really behind. There's been I've just been super busy. We had Halloween with a kid. We all dressed up like giraffes. It was, we had a lot of time. I spent maybe the whole week dressed up like a giraffe. So did my daughter.
That's awesome.
So it's like trying to do family stuff and trying to fit the car stuff in there.
Right.
And also working on videos too. So I've been, I've got some new cars that I've been trying to do reviews of and post to my YouTube channel. It hasn't left a whole lot of time for projects. So unfortunately, if I go through the list, the Geo Prism GSI, that one's just kind of still sitting there. It's running. I still just haven't had a chance to get the thing smogged. That's really kind of what's holding that up. I just got to get the timing set and get it smogged. Super simple, just sitting there waiting for me to do that.
Right.
It gets a little bit more complicated because I need to really get under there and lift it up and mark the timing marks, because I can't see them with a light. There's like little tiny things that kind of like make projects take a little bit longer than you'd think they should.
Right.
So there's that. The Nova, I just was driving it the other day and I realized my tags were expired. And I'm like, I guess I have to get this smogged too. So the Nova needs to get smogged. I just drove it the other day and I think the throttle position sensors messed up because it's like under idle. And it's funny because the Prism does the exact same thing. So I have to get two of those.
Dang
they both have the.
I was going to say, just take it from the Prism.
No, they both have 4AGEs, and they both do that when they're idling. So must be a common problem, I guess.
Yeah.
So that Nova, and once I get that sorted, the Nova is going to pass easy.
Okay.
It passed with flying colors last time. I think it's going to be fine. And actually, it passed last time with like super old, nasty spark plugs and bad gas. Like, so I think it's going to be even better this time. I hope.
I think it will.
Yeah. Let's see. So the Turbo Grand Prix that has been at my friend Charles's house.
It's been a while since we've heard about the Turbo, the TGP.
Yes. It's been a long time since I've actually thought about it. So back in March, my friend Charles said, "Hey, I'll help. Me and my brother will help you." He's one of my 24 Hours in Lemons teammates. Me and my brother will help you get the brake sorted out, because basically it just needs the Teves brake system. That system is completely trashed, so it needs to be removed and basically put in some sort of traditional vacuum brake system. And that they had that idea of helping me do that, but they just haven't had the time. So the car has sat there in his yard since March. So, good intentions, but, within the last few weeks, Charles has got a little bit more interested in cleaning it up. So he's cleaned it up. He's refreshed the leather. He's removed a bunch of like backup camera wiring that was all kind of just messed up in there. So it's looking nicer. Still doesn't stop very well. Yeah. And the turbo is still a little bit messed up, but I found a shop. This is not the brake job is not something that I want to do, because it's basically removing the ABS system and replacing it with like an electronic boost or some sort of hydro boost setup. And I'm not skilled enough to do that. I mean,
it's a little scary,
Yeah, it's brakes.
That's just something you don't want to really crack too far into.
Sure, and it requires fabrication, and I'm not a fabricator. I need to weld brackets and stuff, and it's going to involve running a new brake line to the back. So that's not something I want to do. And I've called around to a bunch of different shops, and no one has any interest in helping me, because they're like 19. It's the weird thing about cars from the 80s and 90s. They're not classics in a lot of people's minds, and they're not new enough for normal shops to want to deal with them. So they're just kind of in this dead zone of like nobody wants to work on them. Right. But I did find this one shop. The guy specializes in cars from the 50s and 60s, but he thought that maybe because he puts electronic boost brakes in some of those cars, because a lot of those are just manual brakes. Right. So he said, well, what if we do that to your car? And I thought, maybe that's a possibility. Just use one of those same systems that he would have used on an older car. So I'm willing to try that. So we might bring the car over there tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
So I don't really know what's involved, and he might get the car and be like, I don't want to work on this. It's
yeah.
So I'm not sure. I did. I don't know. If this doesn't work, I'll have to explore some other avenues and see if there's some, podcast listeners that live in LA that are brake experts that want to help me or something. But
right. Yeah, no, but I mean that's progress. That's good, and I know what you mean about nobody wanting to kind of touch one of those cars from that era, because it's just like a lot of the mechanics' excuses would be like, well, why the hell do you want to keep this thing? It's like, it's going to cost more to fix it than this thing is worth, There's not really that sense of, oh, this is a classic car yet, but it's growing.
But it is. Yeah.
As we,
sure.
as we know, before we know it, it's going to be like, oh yeah, no, I specialize in brake conversions on Pontiac Turbo Grand Prix from that system, that horrible thing, to the electronic boost system. So, they're just not there yet.
Yeah.
You're ahead of the time.
I think exactly. I think there's a market though there for a shop that deals with cars from the, maybe late 70s to, late 90s, where new shops aren't going to want to deal with them.
Yeah.
The classic car shops, like, the cars that were, the baby boomer crowd, they don't want to deal with us.
Right.
And maybe, dealing with customizations because parts are no longer available.
Sure.
So customizations for different systems or for interior parts and that kind. We talked about this before.
Yeah.
But it's definitely just this. It's a dead zone right now, I think.
It is.
And for repairs.
There's your $1 million idea, everybody. Just if you have the means and the mechanical know-how, there's your shop.
Yes, do it. I will bring my Turbo Grand Prix there, and you'll be like, "Nah, I don't want to work on this."
The first specimen.
Yeah, nah, I don't think so. It's kind of a pain. Yeah, and it's one of those cars that I've like the Turbo Grand Prix. You know, I mentioned this before too. The brake systems on these fail. It's the Teves 2 system, and they all fail like right around 70,000 miles. It seems because there's so many of these cars that were for sale that have 70,000 miles on them, and very few of them I've seen for sale are like running and driving cars. You know, they're just sitting because of brake issues or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, I really want to get this swapped out. You know, it's a rare car. It's not worth anything really, but it would be nice to kind of preserve it and kind of,
for sure.
You know, show it. I don't think that it's something that I could have it ready in time for Radwood LA. That's pretty aggressive, but that was my initial goal, but I kind of sat on it for a while.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, even if you were on it the whole time, you know, who knows? There could still be monkey wrenches that could have been thrown into this whole thing, getting it to work. I mean, hey, you could always do it that one. It might have even been Peterson Auto Museum did last year, and just trailer in the Aston Martin Lagonda and just be like, here it is.
Well, you know, actually, I went to the Radwood Atlanta a little over a year ago. Somebody trailered in a Merkur XR4 Ti, probably because it wasn't running. But but yeah, you know, that's a possibility. I could also drive it down there. It's just really hard to stop the thing.
Yeah.
No, I don't really want to do that.
Yeah. Leave it like 3 a.m. to like, you know, avoid anything.
Yeah. So cool. So those are the three, the three kind of GM-ish products in my squad. The Stanza wagon, that's one of those cars I'm just not going to get to until these other ones are done.
Right.
You know, we should have a whole episode on like good intentions. You know, I think so many people have cars that, you know, have bought a car with good intentions. You know, that's why you see like lots of like these cars that sit and sit and sit, and you go to ask somebody, can I buy this? And they're like, no, I'm going to get around to fixing it at some point.
Right.
And then years go by, you ask them again. No, I'm going to get around to it. It's like, probably never going to get around to it. And I sort of feel like I need to be honest with myself. I'm probably never going to get around to fixing the Stanza wagon.
Right.
So I should probably sell it as is and just say, hey, this is the problem that it has. And I enjoyed it for the few months that it was running, and it's been sitting for a year and a half.
Right. That sounds like a good idea for, you know, an episode idea. And also too, just, you know, in general, I think it would be fun to talk through that because, you know, I'm guilty of it too. I've got something sitting in my parents' garage that we talked about on the very first episode. And it's nothing's happened to it. It's sitting there.
Sure. Yeah. Even the Nova that I drive a lot, I still haven't gotten around to getting the thing smogged yet. You know, so there's a lot. Yeah. Owning multiple cars is generally, it's not a good thing.
It's a bad idea. It is
a bad idea. I'm not saying that I won't continue to do it.
Oh yeah. But no, totally. You know, just like collecting anything, baseball cards, guitars, video games. It's, you know, what are they going to do? They're just going to sit there.
Yeah.
You know, for the most time, for most of the part, you know, most of the time. So, okay.
Sure.
Well, cool. Well, do you have anything else, or can I start blabbing about the charade?
The Daihatsu. Yeah. You should probably blab about Daihatsu. I'm trying to think it takes me a while to like actually go through.
You have a lot longer list than I do. So
well, there's like a mental, like I have to go around because I have kind of a large yard, as you know, so it leaves a lot of room for me to like hide cars and kind of forget about them. That's why the Stanza is kind of like, that's kind of over on the other side of the yard. So I don't see it that often. So it doesn't remind me that I should do anything about it.
And it is fall right now. So I don't know. Is it covered in like leaves or anything that you can't just like this giant shuttle like hump in the yard?
Yes. I'll just bury it in some leaves and sticks and stuff.
There you go.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Liam Neeson's kind of in progress. Needs a new motor, but
I mean, anything new? Any updates on that?
The only updates on it is that it still smells terrible, and it's directly adjacent to my studio, so it smells like burnt oil.
It still smells like that in the garage?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Oh man.
Yep.
Gonna have to get some. I don't know. Light some scented candles or something.
Yes. Yeah.
There you go.
So what's going on with this hood on your Daihatsu?
Oh, the hood has been so much fun. So, I've actually made quite a bit of progress just this past week with it. I had some time this past weekend and removed the hood and put on the gold hood that I have, because as you remember, I have 2 hoods for the charade because that's the kind of Daihatsu person you have to be. So
I mean, why wouldn't you have 2?
Yeah, why not? So the gold hood's back on, but I went ahead and stripped down the entire white hood again. Not the entire, just the top of it, not the bottom.
Okay.
And so that was a ton of fun. Pissed off my neighbors really good by making tons of dust and everything, because I just did it on my driveway, like on sawhorses. So in the sander, just going for like 6 hours just to take all the paint off of it. I put a lot of paint on that hood. So this is the second time I've done this.
Okay.
So I got all the paint off of it. So that was that. And then if we recall, a couple episodes ago, we talked about how I went down to Lowe's and grabbed basically every single white paint sample they had and brought it back and found the one that matched the, I wouldn't even say that the paint's faded on the charade. I guess it would be more like kind of doled out some, because like a regular bright white is not the same that the charade is. So I found the closest match that I could find, and then started seeking out a place to have some of that paint mixed up and put into spray cans. And my intention is just to spray redo the hood and just with spray paint, right? Well, just today I went down to that place, the paint place. I think it's good. Not sponsoring them, but Bill Wright's Paint Supplies in La Puente, California. Really cool place, but they'll mix anything. They'll do any color. They'll put it in a spray can. But had a good long conversation with the fine ladies and gentlemen that work there. And what I decided to do is, instead of just kind of being super ghetto about it and using, spray cans, aerosol spray paint on it.
Yeah.
I got a pint of paint that's meant to go into an automotive paint sprayer. So that's
Harbor Freight?
That's exactly where I went after. I went to Harbor Freight and for $22.99 bought the heavy duty automotive paint sprayer.
I've heard people have had pretty good luck with those things. Well, have you? So I got to know if you've done anything yet. Have you painted anything yet?
I haven't. I just got it today. The paint is actually, they were really busy, so they weren't able to get it to me today. So I'm going to actually be going there tomorrow to get the paint and all the other little supplies I need to get. So it's going to go down pretty soon. I got to shoot the primer on it, but doing all the research on this, I actually have to get a different kind of primer to go on the hood than like the Krylon or Rust-Oleum you get at Lowe's, because that's not meant to go with automotive paint. So I'm learning about all this stuff, and through it, I also learned that it might have just been cheaper and easier just to take because I have the hood off, just throw it in the back of my dad's truck and go down to Maaco and tell them, hey, match it to this.
Hey, please paint this. Yeah.
Please paint this. Yeah, here's $150 or whatever it would be. But you know what? Mm-hmm. I like DIYing stuff, and I've never done something like this before, so it should be fun. The only thing is I don't have access to a paint booth. And on top of that, that paint sprayer needs to be hooked up to a, air compressor that's over 30 gallons. And I only have like a little 6-gallon one, and so does everybody I know. But my buddy has a shop, and he's got a mechanic shop. So I was like, hey, I'm coming over with some drop cloths in a couple weeks.
Sure.
Just let me do my thing in the corner. So, but it's not, it's an outside shop, kind of half outside. So, it is what it is. I'm not looking for a perfect finish on it because, the charade itself is not perfect. It's got its own little things, but it'll be better than it was, which is a lot.
Well, I was kind of wondering if you're going to kind of like set up a little like plastic, sheet like paint booth in your garage or something like that.
I thought about that. I thought about doing something like that, and if I went through all that trouble to do that, and then there was like, some microscopic things that fell on it or something like that and made it, ruined it or what have you, it would be really upsetting. But the fact that like I'm in less than $100 for this, and it's like, we'll see how it comes out. It's got to be better than what I did last year when I mismatched the white with just the regular Rust-Oleum white, and then really not even half-assed, like quarter-assed the job on it. So, but yeah, so I'm excited about that. So that's going to be the next couple weeks. It's got to be the next couple weeks. So it's got to be ready for the show. So
yeah. Well, and you could paint the back of it just to practice too, if you're like kind of concerned, just throw a little bit on the back.
See what it looks like. Yeah. No, yeah.
Or just, the rest of your car. Just bring the whole car in.
That's the thing. Cause like a whole pint, like you could probably paint that whole damn car with a pint. And so I was like, okay, well, we'll see how brave I get. But if the hood comes out okay, like my next thing would be like, well, I'm going to try to do the roof, because there's a couple rust spots on the roof, and,
okay.
So who knows?
I know nothing about automotive paint. I'm assuming that there's just like clear coat in the paint, or is that a separate process?
It's a separate process.
Multi-stage. Okay.
Yeah, it's multi-stage. So this paint, this has got the paint and then the bonder, or I guess bonder is what they call it. I don't know. That goes into the mixing cup, and that goes into the paint sprayer. That goes on first.
Okay.
After the primer. So that'll go on.
Yeah.
Maybe 2 coats of that, and then after that, that's when you get crazy with the clear. And that, it's funny because the clear, they're telling me that's the most kind of one of the most important stages besides the prep is the clear, because, you can do many layers of clear, and that just brings up the shine and everything so much more. And the clears can actually be more money than the actual paint itself. Because automotive paint is, as I found out today, it's not very cheap. It's not like buying a $6 can of spray paint. But, I owe it to the car to at least try to make it better than it was. So, so we'll see. So I'm excited. It's fun. We'll see how it comes out.
That's great. I mean, it's like rattle can. It's really, really, really hard to make a rattle can job look nice. So this is nice. You're taking that one extra step to kind of make it show ready.
It's like going to be a 3/4 ass, not a full ass, 3/4 ass job.
No,
because
I've never full ass anything. No,
right?
Not in my whole life.
So we'll see how this comes out. So that'll be in the next couple of weeks, and I'll spray it and see.
Well,
what it looks like.
If it doesn't turn out, I'm sure as you're aware, one of your Daihatsu Club of America members is selling their Daihatsu.
Who's selling their Daihatsu?
Oh, you don't know? Wait, I thought the bonds between Daihatsu club members were tighter than anything. I just found on I don't know what maybe it was the Radwood site or Radwood Facebook page, or maybe underappreciated survivors. Apparently I forget his name. The guy that was parked next to you at
Ryan.
He's got 2. He has a hatch, right?
Yeah.
I think he's selling his hatch.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, I know. You've heard it here first. That there's trouble in Daihatsu land. You didn't know about this.
Furiously texting right now. I'll get to the bottom of this. Okay. He's a hard guy to get a hold of, because he's I think he goes back and forth between Los Angeles and Sydney a lot. So he's difficult to get a hold of. So I will see what's going on. Okay.
Anyways, I'm concerned that there's fractures in the Daihatsu community. So I just want to make sure that you're aware of that. And
Olympus has fallen.
I feel like he should have given you first right of refusal to buy this car. Just say you have a backup.
Olympus has fallen. Yeah. Well, his car is. I mean, I don't know what's hiding in every barn across America, but as far as I know, probably the lowest mileage and absolute cleanest. charade left in the United States.
Sure.
I mean, the thing's got 56,000 miles on it, I think, and it's in really good shape. So, well, that's a shame if he is. And if he hasn't talked to me yet, if he's listening right now, Ryan, you have my number.
I don't know.
Let me know.
Yes, on the Facebook post, I think he was trying to figure out what's a good value, because this is not the type of vehicle that there's a value that anybody can agree to. You know, there's probably 7 people that are really out there that kind of are really interested in a car like this.
Right.
And,
yeah.
You know.
Yeah, because I mean, you know, the Kelley Blue Book value on it is probably like $500, but you know, in the condition it's in and everything like that. You know, I mean, there was that one that was for sale a while ago. It was a red one. It was up in the Sacramento area, and it had pretty low mileage on it too. And they wanted something like almost $4,000 for the thing. And I was like, okay, well, hold up. That's too steep in Daihatsu land. So.
Sure. You know, I was curious if, you know, what a car like Ryan's would go for, you know. I mean, my initial thought was like, 3,000, 3,500 would be like if it was super low mile and you found that right person that absolutely has always wanted a car like this, you know, because if you just sell it on Craigslist, you're just going to get somebody that wants a cheap car and to get around.
Exactly.
So,
well, that's a choking up a little bit. We'll figure it out. So so excited for that. And then so it should be cool. But that's enough.
Definitely.
That's enough Daihatsu talk for this episode.
Yeah,
my allotted 20 minutes of Daihatsu talk is done. So, what else has been going on?
Well, I guess you know what you're going to bring to Radwood. I still have no idea.
Yeah,
still have no idea. I think probably what I'll do is I'll do a poll somewhere on the Facebook Radwood page or something. It's like, should I bring the Nova? Because I actually haven't brought the Nova to an LA event. Maybe the Nova. I could maybe bring the Prism, even though it's beat to hell. There's a small percentage chance that the Grand Prix could make it, but and I was hoping I was going to be able to try to go pick up the 944 Turbo next week. So that's a possibility too. I just don't really. I mean, the 944 Turbo. Don't get me wrong; it's an amazing car. It's tons of fun, but I don't know. At Radwood, I always feel like the cars that are a little bit underappreciated, I appreciate more, you know?
Sure.
And this, I don't know. I don't really want to bring a Porsche to Radwood.
Right.
So I'd rather bring something really weird.
Oh yeah. No, totally.
And, you know, and I have like I always do, and I'm sure you probably do. I've got a bunch of tabs open on my browser of really weird cars that I want to buy.
Yep.
Actually, can we just talk about one of them real quick?
Yes.
I have to see. It's the Mazda Lantis.
Atlantis. I know what Atlantis is. Yes.
So there's one for sale. It's stupid because I can't even register it in California.
Right. Yeah. I was going to say that's a JDM car.
Yes.
They're really cool.
Really kind of nice. And it's not like the fancy one. It's just the 1.6 liter Lantis. It's not like the fast one or anything, but I just really love how that car looks.
Yeah.
And I would have to my brother lives in Vermont. I was like, here, can I register this in your name and just put Vermont plates on it? Because it's...
where's the car at now?
That car is in Florida, so I'd have to have it shipped. So that's too complicated. But there's a bunch of other cars on my Craigslist right now that I'm kind of thinking, well, if this... If I'm really just want to feel a little crazy, I might buy a cheap $3,000 weird car to bring to Radwood, LA. I'll surprise everybody.
Maybe you buy a $3,500 1989 Daihatsu Charade with 56,000 miles.
There you go. Yes, that's pretty cool. I could do that.
And you could just rub it in my face every day. Look what I got, Paul.
I know, it's pretty nice, huh?
Yeah, it's a really nice one. Look, the seats are all the same. The paint's in great shape.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean,
so we got events coming up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be cool. Atlantis. Well, so yes, Radwood, we've touched on a couple times. Today's the 7th. We are T-minus 1 month away. It is on December 7th. And it is in a new location this year. It's in, now I'm not quite familiar with the area. It's in like a park kind of in deep in Orange County, California, and
deep past the orange curtain.
Past the orange curtain. And actually, a couple of my friends, they're avid mountain bikers, and they told me, they're like, when they found out where it is, they kind of were chuckling about it, and they're like, "You have fun getting in there, because I guess it's kind of in like a dirt lot type of a thing. It's going to be interesting to see some of the cars getting into it. I mean, I don't think the Charade would have an issue getting into it, but like there's going to be dust, is what I've been told. So yeah, it should be an interesting venue, but it's going to be very outdoorsy and woodsy themed, I guess. So
that's kind of neat, though.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure they'll probably. I mean, they've had car shows there in the past. I mean, so it's not like this will be the first car show they've ever had in this park.
Right. Yeah, the Irvine Great Park, I think, is the name of it. I'm not even sure. I'm not sure where it's at. But yeah, no, it's 1 month away. It's on a Saturday this year. It was on a Saturday last year too. It was that first year it was on a Sunday. So when they were still doing the Sunday shows. But yeah, no, it should be cool. I mean, I think it's going to be a pretty big turnout, and I believe there's enough space there for just as many, if not more, cars as the Peterson had, which was just a parking lot, but at the same time, like, it had the ability to have a lot of stuff there. And they have a collection of BMW M3 lightweights, which are pretty rare, and I believe these are all E36s that will be there, and I guess they're going to be heading off to Scottsdale in January for the big auction. But that should be really cool to see those as well, because when I was starting out as like a automotive parts guy and working at a European parts warehouse, it was always like I would see the M3 lightweight stuff like get ordered, because it was a kind of higher end European parts warehouse, and it would be like, oh, we got to order this for an E36 lightweight. It was like, ooh, the special stuff, and like BMW still like had the stripes you can buy for it, and the special like magnesium center lock wheel. I don't know. They had all sorts of crazy crap. So it was really cool. So I'm excited to see those things out there too. And of course, all the other awesome rad rides that'll be out there. So it should be fun.
Yeah, definitely. It's never a bad time at Radwood. I'm always super looking forward to just finding something that I had never seen before, which generally happens at a Radwood.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
Sweet.
So that's a month away, but man, we had lots of show things happen.
Yeah, you went to that Honda show.
I did.
Right?
I did. Talk about that for all of our Honda fans that are listeners. Say that 5 times fast. So yeah, that was a couple weeks ago now. It was called the I Heart Honda Festival. And it was put on by Spoon Sports USA, who I've talked about a couple times on the show. Just to quickly recap, Spoon Sports is a tuning company that specializes in tuning Hondas. They've been around since 1986. And their tuning philosophy is not always necessarily like make the most power. They always want to balance the car out and make the car harmoniously work together, like all the parts of the car, the wheels, the tires, the chassis, the suspension, everything, to make the most pure driving racing experience you could have, be it in the street or on the racetrack. It's a very, really kind of cool mentality that they have. So I've always really admired them, and all of this was kind of the brainchild of the owner and president, who's still the owner and president of the company, Mr. Ishishima-san. And the coolest part about this festival, which was out in the wonderful city of Fontana, California, at the Speedway, is Mr. Ishishima-san was there. So I gladly waited in line for an hour to be a complete Honda fanboy nerd and take a picture with him and have him sign a poster for me. So
that's cool.
Yeah, it was very exciting, and take a picture with me too. So yeah,
Gotta have that.
Gotta have that. So, no,
I haven't seen that on your Instagram. Do you post that on your Instagram?
I did. Yeah, I did. It was like the last picture in there.
Why did I miss that?
Yeah, no, it's there. There's a lot of pictures of Honda Fits, and then a picture of like at the end, me and
it's the last picture.
Yeah, Mr. Ishishima-san. So, but yeah, no, it was really, really cool getting to see all the Spoon race cars and all the other Honda race cars that were out there. So it was quite entertaining, and the cars took to the track. It was they did this in the parking lot where I would normally autocross with like the Speed Ventures group. So it was kind of interesting. It was like, oh, I'm usually going 80 miles an hour right here, but here's all the, the show cars. But it was during I mean, I don't know what the sanctioning body was that was there that weekend, but there was a track day going on. So when the track day had their lunch break, the Spoon guys, including Mr. Ishishima-san, got into they had 4 Spoon cars there, and they took off and took them out on the track, including the Fit. So it was kind of cool seeing the Spoon Honda Fit running around, and I was like, oh, awesome. So, but yeah, it was a good time. It was a little warm out there. I got kind of sunburnt, but seeing all the cars, it was interesting being at a Honda show because, I really hadn't been to one of those since like 2001. And it seems a little different now. It's different now. Everybody's kind of grown up, and it's just like, we're not going to go race for pinks or anything like that. It's just everybody's just there to have a good time and enjoy their cars. So it was really nice seeing that. It was kind of refreshing to see that because I was kind of going into it with a little bit of hesitation, like it was going to be really, really like a 2001 Honda meet, but it wasn't. It was cool.
Sure. So, well, I will say there was one thing about the one photo that you posted that kind of made me think this is like a, late 90s, early 2000s Honda meet, was that wing. That wing, is that a Spoon wing that they put on the Type R?
That's the new,
it's like a replacement wing.
That's the new one, yeah.
Yeah. So you think about the Honda Civic Type R, and you think about, it's the looks of that vehicle are controversial, divisive, and a lot of people point to that big ass wing on the back. That's kind of obviously it's there for a reason, but it's ugly. So Spoon came along and made something that was even uglier.
I like it.
Awful.
You don't like it?
It's the worst. No, it's terrible. Oh, it makes me angry. It looks like a bulldozer. It's like the bucket of a bulldozer facing backwards on the back of a Type R.
Right. Well, that the thing with them is they're kind of more function over form. With that company, because it's got there's a real meaning behind the way it's designed, so it can produce a certain amount of downforce, because that's the way that company is. But there's I personally like the new Spoon wing on it, but at the same time, I don't think there's any wing that can really fix it. And it's funny, I saw this today. I saw a Type R rolling around, and I know we talked about this when we had Steven on the show.
Yeah,
it had no wing. They took the wing off it.
Yep.
And I was like, there's no wing on the back of that Type R. It just had the little things that are right there on top of the little hatch, or on top of the rear window, but there was no wing on the back. I was like, huh.
Yeah.
It was a real Type R. It wasn't somebody like with a Type R kit, because it had the wider body and everything on it. So I was like, huh. It looked okay. It's just weird. It's just, I guess there's no helping it. I guess that's the only solution. There's really nothing that can be done.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. You'd have to do a lot to this car to make me want to drive it around, other than just if I could drive and experience this car with no eyeballs, if I could just gouge my eyeballs out first and still be able to drive around and have fun with this car, totally down with it.
All right. I'm going to get you a model of the Spoon Civic Type R for Christmas.
Yes.
There you go. But no, overall the show was it was a good time. Yeah. It was a good time. It was awesome seeing things out there. Good. I spent money.
Yeah, it looked like fun.
Spent a lot of money on Spoon parts, but it's okay.
You got more Spoon parts? Yeah. What did you get now?
The shift knob.
Oh, the shift knob. Okay. That's fine.
I had to,
And some stickers.
And I won those in a raffle because they were.
Oh, cool.
They were doing a trivia, and the guy was like, first person to tell me what the little red car here was. And it was a Honda Beat, which was awesome because there was 2 Honda Beats there. And I was like, oh, it's a Honda Beat. And so I won the little Spoon sticker sheet. So that was fun.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, that was cool seeing the Honda Beats there. There was there was two of them. There was a little red one that was a little more modified, and then there was a silver one that was more kind of a basic Honda Beat. It had like a little cool luggage rack. Maybe they all had the little rugged luggage rack on the back, but it just had little steel wheels on it. But it looks so nice, and you don't know how small that car is until you're standing next to one of them.
Oh,
it's so small. Like my Charade looks like a Ford Excursion next to it. It's like, it's tiny.
Yeah.
I'd still love one though.
I know. That's the thing. It's like, there's one for sale on Los Angeles Craigslist site right now. I think it's in Long Beach.
Mm-hmm.
It might only be like $5,000, maybe $6,000. Mm-hmm. Obviously it should be about that because you're not getting a whole lot. It's very small. But yeah, that I would just not feel comfortable driving it in Los Angeles traffic. I mean, I barely feel comfortable driving my 80s and 90s cars in LA traffic. So not something that is like, it's half the size of a Daihatsu Charade.
Right. Yeah. No, but it wouldn't be a car that I think if anybody was to get one of those cars now, it would definitely be an enthusiast and not somebody looking to daily the thing because.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, but who knows? There could be some crazy nut job out there that wants to daily a Honda Beat, which more power to them. Good luck.
Yeah.
Just be aware. Be very aware.
Yes.
So so the Honda Festival was awesome, but I need to know about the giraffe costumes. I think it was on your Instagram story, you walking down this aisle of pinball machines wearing a giraffe costume.
Oh,
I was like, I thought you were making, doing more music and maybe you filmed a music video. I was like, is that what's going on?
I should have. That'd be a great place to film a music video.
Right.
So I have to do that. I have to do that now. So yeah, basically, as I mentioned, we dressed up as giraffes because my daughter wanted to be a giraffe. We talked about this months ago. So we all bought giraffe costumes. I wore one. My wife had one. And so this pinball museum out in Banning, California, so out towards Palm Springs, they were having this Halloween event, and I just happened to catch this on Facebook, and there happened to be this really big event at this pinball museum. So I was like, oh, you know what? I definitely got to get out there because the museum is only open like 2 or 3 days out of the year. And this is a huge warehouse with over 1,000 pinball machines.
Oh gosh.
Hundreds and hundreds of arcade games. So everything, pinball machines from the 50s all the way to today. So when you go in there, you kind of walk in, you go through the lobby, and you're immediately just overwhelmed with this huge warehouse. And it's kind of nice. It's dark, and it kind of gives you a vibe of like, 80s arcade, which is pretty fun.
Yeah.
Because you just don't really get that much anymore unless it's some hipster joint in Hollywood. Right. It just kind of takes you back to like what arcades used to be like, at least for me when I was growing up in the late 80s, early 90s. Mm-hmm. So, you go in there and they're all organized by era. So the one section is kind of like the stuff from the 60s, and you kind of get, so you see like, kind of like kind of psychedelic artwork. Actually, that was one of the things I really loved about all these pinball machines, is that there was just the artwork on them was just fantastic. I'm not even really a huge pinball fan. I didn't even spend that much time playing. I spent a lot of time just admiring them,
Right.
So, you look through this psychedelic kind of artwork of the 60s games, and then you get into the 70s and you can see, okay, that's when like bands started getting involved. So there was like a Ted Nugent pinball machine game. There was a Rolling Stones game. There was like, it was pretty cool. And then you get into the 80s, it was like a Back to the Future game. There was was there a RoboCop game? There might have been a RoboCop one. And then you get kind of the more modern ones. There was a Simpsons game, and I actually found a Primus one. I don't know if you're familiar with it. I'm sure you're familiar with the band Primus, but I just thought it was funny. Like the band Primus, at one point, their record label was like, "Hey, you guys should probably make a pinball machine or whatever." So that was fun.
That's wild.
Yeah, so we all dressed up as giraffes just because it was a Halloween event. But turns out we were like the only people that actually dressed up. There was very, very few people that dressed up. So I was just walking around in a giraffe costume, and hundreds of people, maybe a handful of other people actually dressed up. But it was fun. My daughter liked it. She got to, she actually they have stools there for kids to kind of try out the games and stuff. And
that's good.
She got to play a couple of the games.
That's great. That's really cool. I'm still stuck on the Primus pinball machine. I'm sorry. I can't get past it.
Yeah. So I know it's funny. There's just a lot of weird ones. And this is just a really fun place because when you're going there, it's a big deal to actually be able to go there because it's only open a few days out of the year. And that's because I think it's a nonprofit and it takes a ton of electricity to run, 1,200 pinball machines and however many, arcade games. They all have the CRT. It's not like they're like low power. Right. They got CRTs on all the old arcade games and it must cost a fortune to be able to run these things. So, but pretty neat, certainly out in the middle of nowhere. And yeah, so that was, I filmed a little video of me walking down there with a giraffe costume on. It's just, I thought here's kind of a weird image. I'll just film it.
Yeah, no, it was awesome. It was too cool. So I do have a question about the pinball machines, and I don't know if you counted, but I want to know how many KISS pinball machines were there? Because I can just imagine them being the most splattered on a pinball machine everywhere.
Sure. Well, there was at least one. I feel like there was probably two.
Really? I was expecting like a number like 163 or something.
Well, the funny thing about these machines is that there's just so many different designs and so many different games that I just never knew existed, I remember a few of them from when I was growing up. I mean, I was more into arcade games than pinball machines. Right. So I would, but if you were a pinball fanatic, I think you have to go to this place.
Huh.
I feel like it's probably the largest number of pinball machines in one area, at least in the U.S.
Yeah, I mean, just a huge. I don't know anywhere else in the world that would have a warehouse just dedicated to pinball machines like that. I mean, but you never know. But at the same time, for the U.S., I haven't heard anything other than that during my tenure as a video game collector. So
sure,
I don't know.
Yeah,
could be.
Yeah, so that was a ton of fun. Everybody that worked there was super nice, and it's also kind of neat because they have so many machines. They've got a few people that are actually working on them, so you can kind of like peek over somebody's shoulder as they're repairing them because there's so many there. They're going to be working on them while you're there. So that was kind of cool too to see somebody like the people that are like specialized in making those work.
Huh.
Yeah. So that was pretty neat. Definitely, if you're interested in pinball or arcade games, follow them on Facebook and just keep an eye on when they're doing these events because they don't happen that often.
They have to shut down the rest of the city to power the pinball museum.
Yeah, and yep.
Pasted up sign in the general store window. Sorry, pinball machine or pinball museum's open. We're closed today.
Yeah, sorry. Yep. If you want anything to do today, just head out there and play some games.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. That's fun.
For sure.
So Banning's way the hell out there. And another thing that's way the hell out there is from us, as we've talked about in the past, as we've traveled there, and we've talked about already, would be Vegas. So SEMA's going on right now, which we talked about already. But still.
Yeah.
What do you think this year? There's some interesting things there, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've just followed a little bit of some people that we know that are there and posting images on Instagram, and I one of the ones I liked was the Thule, the bike rack company and ski rack company. They had a really nice example of a rad era car in there with turbofan wheels, I believe, in their booth. And again, I've seen a fair share of Brodozer pictures. I mean, they're still out in full force. They're still there. I mean, I've also seen some people on the 24 Hours of Lemons, like one of those Facebook groups, posting images of they're trying to take pictures of all the really bad welds they've seen, because you can. Because Lemons teams, they're always having to think about their roll cage and making sure that it's going to pass tech. So I think that's one of those things that race teams are kind of interested in seeing terrible welds. So there's been a few that have posted pictures that are just the worst. I could probably do better, and I have never welded before. And I think it's part of just maybe trying to prepare these show cars. They're probably working on them the day before.
Yeah.
Who knows if it's even welding. They're probably just gluing them together with caulk or something.
They took a page from the Lancia Rally handbook because that team famously to pass tech, I think they used something like, I don't want to say it was cardboard. They used some sort of tubes that were painted silver to like, oh yeah, it's the roll cage, and okay, go race. Something like that. Yeah, they're crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, so you think about some of these builds and like probably the last 10 or 15 years, like the show is really kind of taken off a bit, and a lot of it has to do with like the media that surrounds it. You have a lot of the shows that came out, like your Overhaul-ins and other shows that are on like Discovery now, and it's just always like the crunch to build the SEMA car, the crunch to build the SEMA car. But that's like kind of planted the seeds for a lot of other shops to be like, yeah, we're going to do this too. Yeah, we're going to do this too. And now there's this huge influx, and some of it's really cool. Some of it is awesome, even though I'm not super into, some of the old muscle cars that are there and stuff. Seeing some of the pictures, like, damn, that thing's really cool looking. Like there was, what was it? I'm going to mess this all up, but there's a picture. I think it's a E30 that's got, so it's not a muscle car. We're talking about a BMW E30 here, but it's got that crazy ass exhaust on it. Where it's like, and it's coming out towards the front and then turning around. And it's just like the coolest looking thing you can ever, like, you'd see if you pop the hood on this thing. That's just one of the things that are there that, like, some of the things are so freaking cool. Like, I would love to see that in person. I'd love to, be part of the team building something like that was like, nice, good quality and something that's unique like that. So and that's kind of the thing that is, at least from the feed I'm seeing this year, there's a lot more rad era cars that are there. Like I mentioned at the top of the show, the Dodge Rampage.
Yes, exactly.
The Hellcat engine.
Who thought that was a good idea?
That would be something
but it's a great idea.
I think if SEMA told you and I, hey, Hello Road, why don't you guys, no budget, just, or the budget is unlimited, just go make something for SEMA. Like, that's the kind of shit we would do. It's like, oh yeah, we did that to a Rampage, or like,
yes, exactly.
We have a dual engine Yugo. So that's the kind of stuff,
Exactly.
But that's cool seeing that kind of stuff there, because, for a good number of years, like it was the Brodozers or like the Camaro, the Mustang, the Camaro, the Mustang. And that's what it was. But this year, I think it's overrun by Toyota Supras too. I think there's Jalopnik ran an article. There's an innate number of Supras that are there, which is cool. Like that typically happens when a new car comes out. Like the SEMA show that year is usually overrun by them. I remember like 03 or something. It was overrun by neon SRT4s. Like everybody was showing a neon SRT4, which is cool. But the Supras that are there, some of them are a little freaky looking, but some of them look really good. Like I actually downloaded one of the pictures of one of the Toyota ones. I guess they call it the Heritage one. It has like the Mark IV wing on it. It's red. Yeah. It's the background on my phone right now because that car looks so good. So I don't know.
I think. Yeah, I guess I'm really interested in going to SEMA because I've seen more things that I don't like, just in the feeds coming through like Instagram. Mm-hmm. I've seen more things that I don't like than I've been really interested in. So I want to go now just to like
take it in
really
person.
Try to really seek out those things that I would be really interested in. I'm just kind of like looking at like the SEMA hashtag on Instagram, and there's a couple neat things. There's a pretty neat old Cressida that's got like a body kit on it. Like I think part of the thing is like I generally prefer a little bit more subdued modifications for vehicles, and SEMA is not the place for that. Nope. There's a Datsun 1200 that's there, like an orange one that just has some wider. It's got like a chin spoiler and some bigger wheels on it. Like that's pretty nice because it's not over the top. So yeah, it's hard for me to look at some of this stuff and be like, oh, that's not very tastefully done. You know?
Oh no, I think it would be a lot of fun to go at least just 1 year just to like kind of see, and especially now if this is like the trend, because 2 years ago, I don't think anybody would have put a Toyota Cressida or a Dodge Rampage or anything in their booth.
Yeah, exactly.
Again, it's just that, these cars are becoming more collector cars or just sought after happy memories for the generation that is the ones that are running and consumerizing this industry right now, the people that are our age. So that's what we want to put, and that's what they got to put in the show. So
yeah, definitely.
So,
yeah.
Well, maybe, not maybe. I think next year we're going to have to go. I'm going to have to.
Next year we'll have to go
buy a nice pair of New Balances and one of those like camel pack things that have I wouldn't put water in it. We could just put beer in it, I guess. And
sure. and it depends. So you don't actually have to go to the bathroom.
Yeah, totally.
We got it all figured out.
We've done it right now. Yeah. And a fanny pack just for good reason. So cool. Yes. So we're going to SEMA next year. All right. Let's do it.
All right. Done. Okay.
You heard it here first, everyone.
We'll do that. we'll forget. We'll be like, oh damn, we forgot.
Pinpoint this for a year from now when we're talking about SEMA.
I'll put it in my calendar and then I'll forget about it.
Me too. Like I do with all my other stuff I put in my calendar. So lots of show stuff, Giraffe stuff.
Yes.
So, I think there's anything else really. This was a very show heavy episode on kind of what's been going on and what will be going on and what is going on. I can't think of anything else really.
Yeah.
To go over for everybody. So yeah. Do you have anything else you want to throw at everybody today?
I don't think so. I think so. I just the only thing I would say is go check out that pinball museum. Yes. I think that the kind of key takeaways for me today are go check out the pinball museum and don't buy too many cars.
There you go.
But do as I say and not as I do.
And I will, I'll give advice on what to do with painting a hood with actual automotive paint after I completely screw this up and get really pissed off that I am wasted almost $100. But we'll see. It'll be a fun experiment, right. Just like the wheels for the charade that didn't.
Definitely.
But on that note, anyways, so I think we can call that a show, Ethan. Where can everybody find you on the Instagrams?
We got some on the Instagrams and I'm on Instagram and Twitter at Mr. Ethan Tufts and on YouTube at youtube.com/Hello Road. The most recent video was with a 1966 Ford Galaxy 500, which was kind of a lovely looking vehicle. Didn't quite drive as well as it should have, but it's quite nice.
It was a looker.
Quite nice vehicle. Looker. Yeah, it was a looker. Yeah. What about you?
You can find me on both Instagram and Twitter at Paul's Finest Hour, where I put pictures of my charade and other weird things up on my Instagram. But that's where it's at.
Like GWAR photos.
I have to touch on that real quick for everybody.
Okay. Well, you have to talk about GWAR.
Talk about it. Now, there's a connotation with the band that they're like horrible and really disgusting, and they are. No, the music is great, but like some of the stuff, it's pretty gross. But I saw them in 1999, maybe 2000, when they were on tour with the Misfits, when they had kind of resurged and came back with a different singer. And I remember I knew about what they were going to do with like the spraying of the blood. And I remember I was there mostly to see the Misfits. So I stood in the very back and I didn't get anything on me. And I didn't know that, 20 years later, I would be standing basically in the front row. And I think just today we're 2 weeks away or 2 weeks out from the show. I just got the last of the blood scrubbed off of me. It stains so bad. Oh my gosh, it was so much fun. It was a great show. It was a baptism in blood is what it was. It was so cool. I still have the shirt. I homemade a shirt like a true bohab. So we call us GWAR idiots. And it's basically pink. It's in my garage right now. I think I'm gonna staple it up to my ceiling where I have like all my other memorabilia stuff like that. So it was a ton of fun. So if you ever get the chance to go see them, definitely do it. Wear a white shirt and bring a change of clothes, at least to change a shirt, like a new shirt to put on. And yeah, you're gonna, if you go to work the next day, you will be blood red and green, depending on what they're doing.
Okay.
So, yeah, it was a good time. Very good time.
Nice.
So good way to end on GWAR. There we go.
Yeah. Everybody go see a GWAR.
Everybody go see GWAR show.
All right.
Have a good night, everybody.
See you later, everybody.